Today is April the 27th, 2026, and this is Read Through the Bible.
Hello, everyone.
And you noticed a different voice here today.
That's right. We're recording on Sunday night, and we have our friend Tim Coyle with us. And Tim is married to my college roommate, Barbara. That's how we know him. And he is from Ireland, as you can tell from his accent. And Tim and Barbara are missionaries in Ireland, and they're actually on furlough here in the States right now. And so Tim is staying with us tonight on Sunday night, and so he is joining us for our podcast.
Yep, he's on the way out to California to be at his daughter's graduation from the Masters University. That'll be in a week or two or so. But Tim is here tonight, and Tim, why don't you tell him about yourself?
Well, as Steve said, I'm a missionary in Ireland. This is my third decade in Ireland. This was the country that I was born and reared in, and I'm just very happy to be here this evening with Stephen Yvonne. Also, I was inspired by Stephen Yvonne's Reading Through the Bible, and I have a podcast of my own called An Irishman Reads Through the Bible. Right now, I'm a little bit behind Stephen Yvonne. I'm in the book of Judges.
And so we'll put a link in the description so you can listen to Tim's podcast if you want to hear an Irishman reading the scriptures.
Yes. And we're very encouraged, and we love the fact that God's word can go, especially to the people of Ireland, in a format that they can hear.
Okay, so today we're reading Job 32, 33, and 34, and we have a new character, and his name is
Elihu, and he is younger than the other friends. And since they've stopped talking, he now is going to have a word with Job.
Yeah, and he gives 4 speeches from chapters 32 through 37. We're going to read his first 2 today. And in his first one, he's speaking about then why he speaks. In fact, he's going to talk about more about how he's got something to say before he actually even says what he's going to say.
And he's a bit angry.
He is very angry. Listen for his words for anger.
So these 3 men ceased to answer Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. Then Elihu, the son of Barachil, the Buzite of the family of Ram, burned with anger. He burned with anger at Job because he justified himself rather than God. He burned with anger also at Job's 3 friends because they had found no answer, although they had declared Job to be in the wrong. Now Elihu had waited to speak to Job because they were older than he, and when Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these 3 men, he burned with anger.
And Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, answered and said, I am young in years, and you are aged. Therefore I was timid and afraid to declare my opinion to you. I said, let days speak and many years teach wisdom. But it is the Spirit in man, the breath of the Almighty, that makes him understand. It is not the old who are wise, nor the aged who understand what is right. Therefore I say, listen to me. Let me also declare my opinion. I think it's kind of humorous. He is going to spend the rest of chapter 32 and the first 8 verses of chapter 33 saying, I have something to say.
Listen to me.
Listen.
I got something to say.
Okay,
verse 11. Behold, I waited for your words. I listened for your wise sayings while you searched out what to say. I gave you my attention, and behold, there was none among you who refuted Job or who answered his words. Beware lest you say, we have found wisdom. God may vanquish him, not a man. He has not directed his words against me. I will not answer him with your speeches.
They are dismayed. They answer no more. They have not a word to say. And shall I wait because they do not speak, because they stand there and answer no more? I also will answer with my share. I also will declare my opinion, for I am full of words. The spirit within me constrains me. Behold, my belly is like wine that has no vent, like new wineskins ready to burst.
That's a great picture there. Like he's just so angry, he's just ready to burst.
Verse 20, I must speak that I may find relief. I must open my lips and answer. I will not show partiality to any man or use flattery towards any person. For I do not know how to flatter, else my Maker would soon take me away.
Okay, so in terms of you're looking for a summary there, Elihu just kind of comes on the scene with no introduction. He's just sitting there silently, and he comes with anger, And I think this picture in verse 19 is a great picture that he's ready to burst. Okay?
But he spends a long time prepping and saying, okay, listen to me, listen to me.
And he continues on in chapter 33, still just prepping. Just listen to me, listen to me,
Right.
listen to me.
Okay, verse 1 of chapter 33. But now, hear my speech, O Job, and listen to all my words. Behold, I open my mouth. The tongue in my mouth speaks. My words declare the uprightness of my heart, and what my lips know, they speak sincerely. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. Answer me if you can. Set your words in order before me. Take your stand. Behold, I am toward God as you are. I too was pinched off from a piece of clay. Behold, no fear of me need terrify you. My pressure will not be heavy upon you.
Surely you have spoken to my ears, and I have heard the sound of your words. Okay, so finally he's going to get to say what he's been saying. Yeah, he's been spending so much time. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me. Okay, here it is. You say, this is Job, I am pure without transgression. I am clean, and there is no iniquity in me. Behold, he finds occasions against me. He counts me as his enemy. He puts my feet in the stocks and watches all my paths. Now, I think he identifies Job's position there pretty well.
Yes,
Like,
I think that,
I am righteous, but God has afflicted me.
that sums up what Job's been saying.
Yeah, and then he refutes it right here in verse 12.
Behold, in this you are not right. I will answer you, for God is greater than man. Why do you contend against him, saying, he will answer none of man's words? For God speaks in one way, and in two, though man does not perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls on men while they slumber on their beds, then he opens the ears of men and terrifies them with warnings, that he may turn man aside from his deed and conceal pride from a man. He keeps back his soul from the pit, his life from perishing by the sword.
Man is also rebuked with pain in his bed and with continual strife in his bones, so that his life loathes bread, and his appetite the choicest food. His flesh is so wasted away that it cannot be seen, and his bones that were not seen stick out. His soul draws near the pit, and his life to those who bring death. If there be for him an angel, a mediator, one of the 1,000, to declare to man what is right for him, and he is merciful to him and says, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom.
Now, this is super interesting there. Verse 23 is talking about some mediator for Job is going to plead for Job. And he's going to say in verse 24, even I have found this ransom price that I have paid for him and trying to set him to go free is what the idea here is. It's a very strong allusion to a mediator in Jesus.
Yeah. Verse 25, then let his flesh become fresh with youth. Let him return to the days of his youthful vigor. Then man prays to God, and he accepts him. He sees his face with a shout of joy, and he restores to man his righteousness. He sings before men and says, I sinned and perverted what was right, and it was not repaid to me. He has redeemed my soul from going down to the pit, and my life shall look upon the light.
And then here he speaks about how Job's suffering may not just be retribution, but it may be discipline that God uses to refine Job. And so here's kind of a subtle change from Elihu's friends.
Right, it's kind of a new interpretation.
Yep, she says, behold, God does all these things twice, 3 times with a man. Here's why. To bring his soul from the pit, that he may be lighted with the light of life. Pay attention, O Job. Listen to me. Be silent, and I will speak. If you have any words, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify you. If not, listen to me. Be silent, and I will teach you wisdom. There you see the arrogance of the young man. Quiet, I will teach you wisdom. But if you're looking for a summary statement, I think verse 9 is key. Job's interpretation here, he just says, I'm pure and without transgression. And yet
God is my enemy.
and yet Elihu says, verse 12, in this you are not right. And I think that's kind of the core of what he says. And that's his first speech. And then his second speech begins like in chapter 34, which says, then Elihu answered and said. So this is done with his first speech, kind of focusing on Job. You think you're righteous, but you're not. And now chapter 34 is going to speak more from a Godward perspective about what God does.
Then Elihu answered and said, Hear my words, you wise men, and give ear to me, you who know. For the ear tests words, as the palate tastes food. Let us choose what is right. Let us know among ourselves what is good. For Job has said, I am in the right, and God has taken away my right. In spite of my right, I am counted a liar. My wound is incurable, though I am without transgression. What man is like Job, who drinks up scoffing like water, who travels in company with evildoers and walks with wicked men? For he has said, It profits a man nothing that he should take delight in God.
It's so interesting here how he speaks about Job's position. Verse 5, Job has said, and verse 9, what Job has said, and he accurately represents Job's situation, his position.
Verse 10, Therefore hear me, you men of understanding. Far be it from God that he should do wickedness, and from the Almighty that he should do wrong.
Yeah, here comes retribution theology, verse 11.
For according to the work of a man, he will repay him, and according to his ways, he will make it befall him. Of a truth, God will not do wickedly, and the Almighty will not pervert justice. Who gave him charge over the earth, and who laid on him the whole world? If he should set his heart to it, and gather to himself his spirit and his breath, all flesh would perish together, and man would return to dust.
So much spoken here about God.
Yes.
What God is, what God does, and his character. If you have understanding, hear this. Listen to what I say. Shall one who hates justice govern? Will you condemn him who is righteous and mighty, who says to a king, worthless one, and to nobles, wicked man, who shows no partiality to princes, nor regards the rich more than the poor, for they are all the work of his hands? In a moment they die. At midnight the people are shaken and pass away, and the mighty are taken away by no human hand.
For his eyes are on the ways of a man, and he sees all his steps. There is no gloom or deep darkness where evildoers may hide themselves. For God has no need to consider a man further, that he should go before God in judgment. He scatters the mighty without investigation, and sets others in their place. Thus, knowing their works, he overturns them in the night, and they are crushed. He strikes them for their wickedness in a place for all to see, because they have turned aside from following him, and had no regard for any of his ways, so that they caused the cry of the poor to come to him, and he heard the cry of the afflicted. When he is quiet, who can condemn? When he hides his face, who can behold him? Whether it be a nation or a man, that a godless man should not reign, that he should not ensnare the people.
For has anyone said to God, I have borne punishment, I will not offend any more? Teach me what I do not see. If I have done iniquity, I will do it no more? Will he then make repayment to suit you because you reject it? For you must choose and not I. Therefore, declare what you know. Men of understanding will say to me, and the wise man who hears me will say, Job speaks without knowledge. His words are without insight. Would that Job were tried to the end, because he answers like wicked men. For he adds rebellion to his sin. He claps his hands among us and multiplies his words against God.
Yeah, just verse 37, speaking about Job's rebellion. He's clapping his hands, multiplying his words against God. That's what Elihu sees, that he's speaking up against his God who does not do wickedly. He does not do unjust things. Right. Yep. So if you're looking for some sort of summary of this, I think you can do no better than verse 11. For according to the work of man, he will repay him. According to his deeds, he will make it befall him. There's just the retribution theology that God is right, and he's going to repay people according to their deeds. All right, Tim, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Tim.
Glad to be here.
I am sure the readers will appreciate your Irish voice. And you can listen to him on his own podcast. Okay, we will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.